I'm Kevin.
And Mafe. Welcome to the first ever YMCA Ignite Show, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Mafe, and I work with the YMCA Latin American and Caribbean Alliance, based out today in Bogotá, Colombia. Hace más o menos 5 años hago parte de este movimiento tan grande y hermoso y me siento muy emocionada de estar aquí y conmigo está Kevin.
Hello, I'm Kevin and I'm a board director at Y Victoria here in Melbourne. I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that I'm standing on today, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation.
Over the next 45 minutes, we aim to inspire and inform you about the global YMCA movement, its future direction, and importantly, something you will hear a lot about, Vision 2030.
Awesome. Mafe, could our producers have chosen 2 people that are further apart in the world? It's just gone midnight right now in Australia. And what time is it for you in Colombia right now?
I couldn't agree more. Actually, you are my hero. It has just gone 8 in the morning here. I think that makes us 16 hours apart, but we're still back together.
Oh, very true. I don't think we need reminding that the YMCA is the oldest and one of the largest youth organizations on the planet, with a presence in more than 120 countries across 12,000 communities and working with millions of people every single year.
And nor do I think that we need reminding that the world needs YMCA more than ever to empower young people to ignite change, to help build a just, sustainable, equitable, and inclusive world, to support the current, emerging, and future generations of global leaders, and see everyone thrive in body, mind, and spirit. A world where every person lives in harmony with self, society, and with creation.
Awesome. And before we get started on how we're going to do all of that, can I just say how good it is to be back together again virtually this time. Some of you may have been a part of YMCA World Council in Aarhus, Denmark, where we presented another 45-minute show, World Council Daily, and the Ignite Show built on that momentum captured at that event. And wherever you're joining us from today and whatever time it is for you, we're so glad you could join us. Thank you.
Yes, so do let us know where you're joining us from around the world. You can post in the YouTube chat or email us to igniteshow@ymca.int. Let us know where you're joining us from and what are you doing, and we will share some of your comments later in the show.
Yeah. Coming up, we'll be looking at whys all around the world, at climate and equity work taking place in Peru, and hear from the Asia Pacific Alliance out of Seoul in South Korea about the journey since Y's 175th anniversary in London in 2019. And most importantly, we'll set out where we're going in the future and how you can take some practical steps with the global movement within your own localized communities.
Now, first, in July 2022, at the World Council, the entire YMCA Global voted to adopt Vision 2030, our collective global mission with 4 pillars of impact and 12 strategic goals, 3 of each pillar. To understand where the YMCA is going in its future means to understand Vision 2030. But what is this all about?
Our world needs us to stand together and act as one more than ever before. This is our moment. It's our time to ignite change and to empower young people to create the world they will inherit. Our vision is a world where every person lives in harmony with self, with society, and with creation. Our mission is to empower young people and communities worldwide to build a just, sustainable, equitable and inclusive world where every person can thrive in body, mind and spirit. And we'll deliver on our vision by aligning with the UN Sustainable Development Goals, prioritising 4 strategic and intersecting pillars of action. We believe that individual and community well-being are strongly connected. We will ignite change by providing high-quality, relevant and sustainable health and well-being solutions to young people and communities worldwide. We believe that young people are full of potential and purpose. We will ignite change by providing and advocating for meaningful education, training and employment opportunities for current and future generations. We believe in taking responsibility for a planet under threat. We will ignite change by decreasing our carbon footprint, supporting sustainability solutions globally and contributing to regenerating the Earth. We believe in the dignity of every human being. We will ignite change by defying discrimination, inequity, injustice and racism, and will amplify the voices and actions of young people as agents of change for a safe and equal world. We have set internal, local and global goals. What YMCAs do in their own organisations, in the communities they serve, and on a global stage. The spirit of Vision 2030 is that we are united, 120 YMCAs aligning in unique ways, with global approaches in best policy and practice, as well as shared resources and local solutions. Together we have created one global vision, and we are ready to bring it to life uniquely in over 12,000 communities in 120 countries, impacting over 60 million people. This is our moment. This is our time to ignite change toward a just, inclusive and sustainable world. This is YMCA Vision 2030.
It is clear that Vision 2030 is new and unique. As a global movement, we have never come together like this before. It is all about aligning for greater impact, one vision, one mission, and shared action areas and measurement tools. It promises to help every national movement, whether they do some or all it, whether they go fast or slow.
The more we do together, the stronger we are internally and the stronger we are externally, in the eyes of our partners, our donors, and most importantly, young people and communities. Now, we'll just take a second to say hello to some people we see on screen right now, Mafe. So we've got our friends from YMCA East Jerusalem. Hello to all of you guys. The team from Wise Men International. I see Josh from YMCA England and Wales. Who else do you see on the screen, Mafe?
Yes, we have a lot of special guests here. So we have reached a special place in time and significance. But how? How did we get here? Vision 2030 didn't come into existence overnight. Over the past 4 years, thousands of hours of conversations and planning have taken place. From YMCA 175 in 2019 to World Council last year, and many more since. Let's take a look.
I sense that something new was in the making, a new reality. Moving toward 2044 is an incentive to clearly articulate our North Star, a construct and an understanding that we will all look at and that will inspire and drive our strategic choices. Something significant and positive have transpired over this past day, and I believe the YMCA will never be the same again.
It's important for us to discover and to move forward to this North Star. It's important because we can't do separate. I think we can go quickly when we are alone, but together we will be stronger, of course.
And this lovely Padare concept is from ancient Zimbabwe. It's a chance for us to share our wisdom and our experience. And There's this lovely vision of leaders from across the country coming together and meeting under a tree to share their wisdom and their experience so as we can progress a positive way forward.
They jolted all of us out of our COVID shell shock. Then youth-led solutions, they truly energized us to go forth and undertake efforts to face the pandemic.
And it will go on record that this historic moment of YMCA history, our first global strategy, was witnessed by over 1,000 attendees from over 120 countries and over 1,000 virtual attendees. Congratulations. This is our moment, this is our time, this is our Vision 2030. It's our time to ignite change.
YMCA leaders from various countries in Africa gathered in Nairobi from the 10th to 12th November for a series of governance meetings. It was also an occasion to share more about the Africa Y 3.0 and Vision 2030, and the board president's meeting most important outcome was a collective declaration to commit the national movements to the Vision 2030 and discussions about how the African movements will embed the Vision 2030 in their strategies as well as the implementation framework.
Adopt Vision 2030, what we wanted to do with it. Major activity we did is to pull together a group of leaders from all over the world here in Lausanne, Switzerland, to say, what do we do with that?
It was actually really historic. After years of co-design with young people from around the world, for the very first time in our 178-year history, Worldwide landed on our first global strategy, and that's Vision 2030. And what's really special about that strategy, it gives us an opportunity to align what we do here in Australia with the work of the Y across 120 countries.
In that spirit, my friend, go forth and ignite. Ignite wholeness, ignite hope, ignite responsibility, ignite dignity. Together. Ignite!
Oh man, that's quite a journey we've been on, starting at YMCA 175 in London in 2019 with our North Star workshops, the National CEOs meeting in Palestine in early 2020, hours of Zoom meetings, consultations, surveys, including the Padara Reimagination Series, the Youth-Led Solution Summits and Leaders Talks, World Council, and then a meeting of a group of YMCA leaders and experts from around the world in October 2022 in Lausanne, Switzerland. It's all brought us here now.
Yes, it is pretty incredible, and there is more, because in the 6 months leading up to today's first episode of the Ignite Show, a number of YMCAs had met to discuss Vision 2030. They have started to look at how it integrates with their own strategies and the impact it will have on their work over the next few years. Some have formally adopted, but who is on that list? It includes the YMCA area alliances of Africa and Europe, and YMCA national movements in Germany, India, USA, Ireland, England and Wales, Scotland, and the Philippines, Canada, and Australia, and even more.
All right, so if you've just joined us, again, you're watching the Ignite Show. We're Kevin and Mafe, and we're here to guide, inform, and inspire you about the work of the YMCA all around the world and our connectivity through our first global strategy, Vision 2030.
You have been sending your comments, and we want to say a big hello to some of our guests.
Yeah, so we have Emmanuel in France. I can see Clara in Uruguay. Good morning. I know that it's morning over there. To our friends in Spain and at YK International. Good evening to those tuning in from India. In Greece, they're wishing us a Happy New Year, Mafe. Happy New Year to you and to everyone in YMCA Scotland and to those in YMCA Westbund and in Germany as well. Hello to all of you. Thank you for joining. Now, we know that different national movements and different people in the different stages are at different stages of Vision 2030. Maybe you know all about it. or this is the first time you're hearing about it, or you're journeying with us, we heard that some parts of the YMCA are already making big plans, and are also, some may not be so sure. Many are willing, but or many simply want more information, which in part is what the Ignite Show is all about.
At the end of last year, some of the World YMCA's executive committees came together to reflect on this, starting with Carlos Ambig, where YMCA General Secretary, sharing now the pandemic impacted the shaping of Vision 2030.
Those 2 years of COVID, while the world, we didn't know where to go, YMCA we were busy coming together and to find a purpose out of COVID, which is Vision 2030, to make it so special. So special that out of this huge global disruption, we are here coming together, sharing the same purpose, the same, we call it North Star, same direction, all our diversity. That's, for me, that makes it so special.
What excites me about Vision 2030 is that we have clearly aligned ourselves to the successful achievement of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And through the energy and innovation of young people, we're going to lead global transformation in the areas where they have clearly decided they want to make a difference. And we're being true to giving them that leadership and that mandate.
I'm struck by how every single Vision 2020 principle guidepost has the youth involved, whether it's youth-led action or the impact is all driven by the youth. Vision 20 wasn't just created out of nowhere. Outside of the Y, I work as a business consultant, and very often I work with corporations who just kind of say, this is our strategy, and they dictate it. I'm struck by how much the Y did to get input from everyone. It was a years-long process, and young people were absolutely involved in it.
What I like most about Vision 2030 is that this was the first strategy we actually consulted as a whole movement. It was not a paper given to us, and now we should go on doing something. But from the first moment on, we tried to include everyone, and especially the voices of young people.
So we have heard how Vision 2030 was adopted at World Council after several years of work. But what does that actually mean to you? What does it mean and what will it mean to local YMCAs and your communities, to national YMCA movements, to our YMCA area alliances on each continent?
How does it relate to your existing work in and around the 4 pillars of sustainable planet, just world, community well-being, and meaningful work?
To talk to us about that, first we welcome Nan Bu Won, General Secretary of the Asia Pacific Alliance of YMCA. He has been part of the Vision 2030 journey all along. Nam, firstly, what is an area alliance? And welcome.
Yes, Nam, you're part of the North Star steering group that helped to form what became World Vision 2030. How was that process for you? And welcome as well.
Yes, thank you, Kevin and Mafe. Yes, I was very fortunate to be actively engaged from the beginning of the Vision 2030 formation process. I believe that it was very participatory. Many participants from different levels, from local YMCA, national, regional, and world YMCA level. So I must say that this is really cross-cutting, totally shared vision beyond all the different levels of YMCA movements. So as integral part of that process, I own this Vision 2030, and I believe that every integral part of the World YMCA family must co-own this Vision 2030.
Thank you, Nam. Can you explain to us what is an area alliance, please?
Yes, area alliance, as you know, we have about 6 different area alliances trying to link between World Alliance and national movements. And APAY, Asia and Pacific Alliance of YMCA, is comprised of 24 national movements in our region of Asia and Pacific. Thank you.
That's great to know. And one area of the world in the Asia Pacific region that is particularly advanced is the sustainable planet pillar. Why do you think that is?
Yes, I think basically these four pillars are interconnected each other. But in terms of Asia Pacific region work, I believe that we started this sustainable planet pillar about 1 decade ago. For example, we continued our green ambassadors training programs from 10 years ago. And as you see here, all this Albaya YMCA's work is part of APAY work. As you see, the General Secretary Tintin was earlier alumni of our Green Ambassadors training. And we ran for the past 8 years the e-learning course on climate change that led to youth-led solutions program in Asia Alliance level. And we set up green fund programs. That every travel you make to attend APY programs and events, you are required to pay the 15 US dollar to really offset the carbon emission you made by flying. So this accumulated green fund was used to really offset all the emissions we created by flying to each other. And of course, this climate justice is a really important component in seeking climate change in our work. So I think it is also very much connected to our work to just world, to create more just and sustainable world in our regional area too. Thank you.
Thanks, Nam. And in continuation from that, following on from that, in the future, the area alliances will support the World YMCA in providing essentially a backbone function to support the implementation of Vision 2030 across regional and national movements. How do you envision that happening?
Yes, what we GST members used to call, there must be a radical collaboration between all levels of YMCAs, but especially between World YMCA and Area Alliance and national movements. So we should be able to do our work as a backboning of this implementation of Vision 2030. Eventually, the real change and transformation must take place on the ground. So we will support national movements, and through national movements, all the local YMCAs, because they will be the on-the-ground workers who really are making differences in the people's life around these four pillars of the work. Thank you.
Thanks, Nam. So we definitely have a lot of work to do. So let us go from the global and the regional to the national and the local. Joining us now from Latin America, specifically from Peru, we have two leaders. Welcome, Betsabe Feliz Merino, the youngest president of National YMCA, and Rodrigo Puntriano, YMCA ambassador volunteering locally with YMCA Peru. Rodrigo, you were at World Council and took part in the collapse process, a small dialogues over multiple days to advance in the direction of Vision 2030. How does global strategy impact the work you do day to day in cities and their towns in places like Lima, Arequipa, and others?
Hello, Mafe, Kevin. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. And actually, that Mafe is a great question, because for me there is no simple cause-effect relationship between our strategy and our work. I think I saw it in one of the videos. I think our day-to-day basis gives content, gives meaning, and sort of corrects our global strategy to our local reality just as much as our global strategy gives the vision, the purpose, and the perspective to the work we do every day. You know what I mean? I think day to day work and strategy are corresponding to each other. And we can see that in Peru. We've had environmental initiatives for as long as I can remember, and for sure going far behind. And when Youth-Led Solutions Initiative opened an opportunity to fund those initiatives, we gathered, we built a proposal, and we received funding to transform plastic waste into sanitary infrastructure for people without proper access to water and sanitation. So now we have more than one Youth-Led Solutions, and it sort of adds to our portfolio, if you will, of initiatives that are at the same time driving and driven by our global strategy. I believe it's no joke having such a big movement aligned and pushing towards the same direction. And I think that's the power of Vision 2030, which I think has achieved a focus on four main topics that guide the work of every YMCA around the world, but it still captures the essence of YMCA itself and allows most, not to say all, YMCAs to imprint their unique identity to each of those four pillars.
Thank you. The work of YMCA Peru is doing pretty innovative stuff when it comes to climate action, in part thanks to YMCA Youth-Led Solutions initiatives. In preparation for COP26 Climate Summit in 2021, a short film was made about the work Rodrigo and other young leaders are doing on the ground. Let's take a look.
Está en la capital, en la provincia capital, en Arequipa. Está Mollevaya, el distrito de Mollevaya, en parte del cual es la Asociación de Vivienda La Mampía. En la Asociación de Vivienda La Mampía viven unas 60 familias. El acceso a agua y saneamiento en La Mampía es inexistente.
Los que aún viven, hay muchas personas que todavía no vivimos por falta de muchas cosas.
En La Mampía, cada semana un camión cisterna se acerca para abastecer a la asociación de agua. Los ciudadanos tienen que pagar con su propio dinero para tener agua y ni siquiera alcanza para un acceso fluido de 24 horas.
Porque no tengo con qué agua cocinar para mis hijos. Porque yo me siento así, mira, si usted ve, ese es mi bañito que tengo ahí. Y realmente sí la necesito.
El proyecto es un más muro. Estamos haciendo ladrillos, ecoladrillos, para hacer baños para la asociación de acá de La Mampía.
Un ecoladrillo, como su nombre lo indica, es un ladrillo ecológico que está hecho puramente de plástico. Para hacerlo se necesita una botella de 500 mililitros, la cual se llena con plástico que se va compactando. Aproximadamente 1000 ecoladrillos se necesitan para crear una ecobase. Una ecobase es una infraestructura sanitaria hecha con ecoladrillos que permite un espacio digno para las personas en La Mampía para utilizar para hacer sus necesidades. Esta infraestructura sanitaria está conectada a un biodigestor que procesa las aguas residuales y permitiría crear áreas verdes en la asociación. Eso es aproximadamente 1 tonelada de plástico retirada del medio ambiente.
Bueno, todos tenemos esperanzas, ¿no? Que algún día cambie y que sea para una buena mejora continua, ¿no?
Amazing work. If you would like to watch the full-length version, head over to the World YMCA YouTube channel after, not now, after the show, and look for the Creating Youth-Led Solutions documentary. Rodrigo, as a YMCA volunteer, it's clear you are deeply passionate about the sustainable planet pillar of Vision 2030. What role does the YMCA have to play in that?
I've always been passionate about that sustainable planet pillar. And probably by the end of my answer, you might think I'm a fool, but I believe YMCA's role in environmental sustainability implies 3 responsibilities, considering we are committed to a sustainable world. So from the easiest one to address to the hardest one to address, in my opinion, they go like this. The first one is our own carbon footprint. We need to measure, reduce, and compensate our emissions. We should be carbon positive, taking carbon dioxide out of the environment, if we are committed to a sustainable planet. And that's the easiest one because it depends on us and our decisions with the risks and costs associated. And the second one is our people footprint and the lives of peoples that we touch somehow influenced by YMCA. We might as well convince them to become carbon positive. But the hardest one is other people's footprint. And people, I'm not talking about persons just, but also organizations and governments. Now we are doing a magnificent work raising young people's voice at COP, for instance. I was at COP 26, but I believe we need to go farther. If we are committed to a sustainable world, then we need to move our influences as a movement with the utopic goal to get a carbon positive world. So I said you would think I'm a fool, but I believe I'm a dreamer, and I'm not the only one. And I hope one day you'll join us.
Definitely, Rodrigo. And something that caught my attention with what you just said is the coherence and lead by example, right? So now we want Betsabe to let us know what role do you think national movements play in supporting local YMCAs with Vision 2030?
Hi, hello. Thank you for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here and share a little bit about our experience. Thank you for the question because it allows me to recognize that the YMCA structures in the world are different. There are federal organizations that bring together different local YMCAs and others, like in Peru, that are a single national movement with a presence in different communities in the country. Regardless of these forms, I believe that the fundamental principle of the national office to play a relevant role in supporting the local work of the YMCA is to provide feedback to communicate the same purpose constantly. The challenge that we have is to communicate our cause more and better through our different programs, projects, and activities, so that the YMCA can be identified with the same vision and that we are heading in the same direction. For this, necessary national strategy is to align the same corporate image that allows identifying the valuable work that the YMCA does in Vision 2030. Invest resources in time, in cooperation and teamwork, seeing the needs for the communities where the YMCA is present, because while YMCA is relevant in their communities, may be identified nationally, then regionally, and finally globally. We cannot work offline. The only way to fish is by throwing one net. So we can ignite.
Thanks, Betsabe. YMCA Peru, among other great areas of work, has been particularly leaning into issues of just world, which is the fourth pillar of Vision 2030. And in many ways, it's the one that underpins them all. Why do you think this one is most important?
Well, without fear, I can say that I believe that our motor does not allow us to be indifferent to the realities of the structural injustices that we can experience in our country. In Peru, there are many inequality gaps, as Rodrigo already told, and we all have been able to see the problem that Sumatmuru project addresses in this video. These gaps do not allow people to develop in balance, in mission, in spirit, mind, and body. Therefore, from our movement, we have the firm conviction that our mission is to be facilitators of this integral development, so that each person can forge their own life project in the framework of a just world and Christian values. Jesus Christ was a leader who inspired us with freedom and justice, who rejected exclusion, discrimination, and his message was one of love. Our Christian cause makes the YMCA try to respond to problems of exclusion and injustice that exist latent in its environmental, because only in this way can it be a headline that inspires and sows hope, inviting its members, we all, to transcend ourselves and share with their community. We can ignite our light where there is darkness. It's our moment. I think, like in the video, it's our time. We have to work.
We couldn't agree more with you, Betsabe. And one way the YMCA Peru has been leading the way is through its Transcendent Opportunities program in partnership with YMCA of Greater Toronto in Canada, and the Trans Feminist Organization for Transhuman Rights, working in 3 cities: Lima, Peru's capital; Piura on the north of coast; and Iquitos in the jungle. It aims to improve the social, emotional, and work skills of trans people so that they can forge a better future for themselves in their employment, well-being, social justice, and public advocacy in a country where there are no laws to protect trans rights. It is a great example of just work and meaningful work in action. 2 of the Vision 20.
Soy Kaori Tonama Tonama, una mujer transgénero con 28 años de edad. Soy de la ciudad de La Selva, Perú. Tengo viviendo 9 años acá en la capital de la República. Salí de mi casa por problemas familiares por mi identidad de género. Conocí al Inca, vine a jugar vóley con mis amigas mujeres trans.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Yo soy Cintia, soy la coordinadora del proyecto. Es muy interesante que nuestro primer objetivo cuando empezamos con esto tenía que ver con el hecho de que las chicas que llegaran al proyecto se sintieran seguras, puedan desplegar con total libertad sus sueños, poder contar sus anhelos, poder hablar de aquello que proyectan. Kaori fue un referente para ayudas para estas mujeres de parte de la municipalidad y de otras ONGs. En ese momento pudimos ver no solamente la capacidad de liderazgo, sino también su sentido de servicio.
A la comparación de mi vida anterior con la vida que tengo hoy, me siento tan orgullosa, tan responsable y más despierta. Me gustaría ser una líder y trabajar por los derechos para las mujeres trans en el Perú, así como yo he logrado un trabajo formal en la Municipalidad de Lima.
En esa oportunidad de trabajo a la que Kaori pudo acceder, el papel de Inca fue muy importante, ya que fungió de referente para la municipalidad al poder dar fe de la capacitación y de todo el proceso que Kaori desde hace 3 años tuvo dentro del proyecto Entrelazando Caminos.
Mi sueño es que las personas sean más empáticas, las mujeres trans tengan derechos para que juntos transformemos el Perú.
Amazing work, Betsabe Rodrigo. Thank you for sharing with us all you do. I am so proud. Nam, just to close, you have seen the entire Vision 2030 journey. Where do you think we go next?
Yes, I think this great boat of Vision 2030 has already started to move forward in many corners of the world. So it is a critical time, a Kairos time for us to move together to really materialize in this world where we are facing, the whole humanity is facing multiple challenges, including the climate crisis. So it is very timely, relevant. It is time for us to alert, encourage each other to move forward with this huge vision and mission statement we all collectively own. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nam. So we've seen there's a great practical amount of work taking place right now that can inspire all of us and help us play a part in creating systematic change.
Yes, we have heard about how YMCAs are using their existing world and developing emerging ideas for new work to address and implement Vision 2030 in these early stages. But the big question now is, how can we do the same? Helpfully, World YMCA has produced a practical guide to get you started on that journey. And here is a sample of what you can expect from it.
Let's see what's going to happen next. every local, national, regional, and of course the World Alliance will work towards adapting their own strategic plans to integrate Vision 2030 in their new strategies. We can declare officially that we took together the first step towards making Vision 2030 a reality. How can we say at the next World Council we are 25% or 55% towards reaching those goals? And a huge journey awaits us for the next 8 years to actually turn Vision 2030 into reality and ignite change and improve the lives of young people and communities worldwide.
Aha, so where do we go from here then? What can each of us do in our own YMCAs and communities around the world? To get us thinking about that, we welcome the person you've heard and seen in that video, Mr. Rezvan Victor Sasu, the Head of Strategy and Policy at World YMCA.
Razvan, welcome, and thank you for joining us here. Firstly, what is the Vision 2030 practical guide? Why should we download it, and how we can make use of it?
Hi everybody, and thank you for having me here. First of all, the practical guide brings together a lot of questions that people were asking around the movement. What are we going to do with Vision 2030 now? What is activation? What is implementation? What do I need my YMCA? What are the implications, and what are you expecting from me? So in order to answer all those questions, because they're quite complex questions, we said, okay, let's maybe bring everything together and make it as simple as possible. And also try to make it relevant for any local, national, regional, and of course, the person in the global YMCA movement. So they can find all the answers they need in a very simple and easy, practical guide.
Well, you've taken the time to think through how Vision 2030 can be relevant to a local YMCA youth worker, board member, or anything in between, as well as national movement staff and area alliances.
First of all, if you look at the guide, you will see that it gives you very quick and easy indications of what are the next steps that you can do, regardless of whether you are a local, national, or regional YMCA. For example, it says the first step that we are proposing is to explore Vision 2030 in your team. And you can do that regardless if you are a youth worker or the CEO of your YMCA. You can facilitate or start or ignite that process wherever you are in the organization. And also, regardless of where your YMCA is in the process, maybe you're realizing that you need to push for even further change in your YMCA. Maybe you are very passionate about a certain strategic goal or Vision 2030, for example, becoming a climate neutral YMCA, or ensuring that we are offering meaningful work opportunities and lifelong learning opportunities to our own teams. So maybe you are passionate about that. And if you are passionate about the topic, you can push it in your organization and you can facilitate conversations. This is an extremely important element that you will also find in the guide. We are encouraging everybody to spark conversations inside the YMCA and see what is relevant for us, what is relevant for our communities, what is relevant for our young people. And especially regarding the point on young people, there is also very strong advice in the guide, nothing about us without us, that we have to engage young people as an equal partner in all these conversations. After that, after you have these conversations in your YMCA, basically the next step would be to choose which are the pillars and the goals that are relevant for your YMCA. And finally, to adjust your strategy and your operational plans to reflect them.
Oh, wow, we have all got new items on our to-do list then. What is going to be happening at a global level over the next few months?
So what do we want to do this year is, first of all, to start building the backbone function that we discussed earlier together with the area alliances, and that will happen basically in a little over a month, who will come together in Geneva at the middle of February to design the backbone function that we are speaking about. Not just about what we want to do, because we know what we want to do, but how are we going to actually make it happen? So the second step will be to build pillar teams. This will be a huge undertaking and a huge experiments that we're going to put together on a global scale. And what we are going to do is we are going to form for each of the 4 pillars that we have: community well-being, meaningful work, sustainable planet, and the just world. We are going to form global teams who are going to work around those subjects in a more practical and more expertise-based way.
I mean, gosh, you've got a very busy few months ahead of you. Just to finish in a sentence, why should people make use of the Vision 2030 practical guide?
The short answer would be, if you really want to activate Vision 2030 and make meaningful change for the young people and communities in your YMCA, and to find out how to do that, what are the key elements and the key steps, go download the guide, read it quickly, and then commit to make meaningful change in your YMCA starting today. And then hopefully, if we all do that, if at least 100 YMCAs do that, that will kickstart a change that will benefit our communities for years to come.
Thank you for joining us, Razvan, and for making it clear about how we all have a role to play, and that from today, we should all be starting to take action.
Be sure to download the practical guide now or after this show to find out the next steps. Head to ymca.int/the -Ignite or scan the QR code on your screen showing now.
Sadly, we're nearly out of time on the first episode of the Ignite Show. But before we round up, we want you to ask you, what will you do next? So right now we're going to have a poll on the screen with the QR code. So we ask you to please scan it and answer those questions. There is the QR code. Fill in the responses. Let's hear about you and answer those questions, please. So Kevin, what will you do? What actions will you take with Vision 2030? Tell us.
Yeah, I look forward to, as a board director at Y Victoria in Melbourne, I look forward to supporting the local teams here to push forward with some very cool programming designed to support young people. We have launched some great initiatives in Y Australia, including Y Careers, our initiative in partnership with our federal government to support employment for young people, which speaks to our to one of our pillars as well. Similarly, a lot of action happening in supporting young people in Victoria locally with our youth teams, and I look forward to utilizing my role as a board director to support those teams. So I will do my part as best as I can to support, to help, and to use my voice to better the responses and application of our programming. And what will you do, Mafe? What do you look forward to doing in the next year to support Vision 2030?
I will actually follow your example, and of course, helping the teams. And as I am part of the YMCA Latin American and Caribbean Area Alliance, so we have to be and help to build that backbone in the following months. So we definitely have to tropicalize, how we say, the guidebook to put it in accessible for all of our countries here in Latin America and the Caribbean, especially with the difference of languages, Spanish and Portuguese as well.
Yeah, and I've always felt as well that I suppose, particularly in Australia, we have a role to be a guide, to utilize our space and our privilege to support other communities outside of the country as well. So I look forward to being a part of that journey and supporting otherwise that are outside of the country.
Amazing. So here are some answers. So we have some answers. Talk about it is the biggest one and is the one that I see right now. Read the practical guide, check out the programs, make a commitment, that's super important.
Discuss with your team as well. Yeah. Increase the capacity. Yeah. Oh, this is amazing. Thank you so much.
If you have a feedback and a story or a question for us here at the Ignite Show, email igniteshow@ymca.int. We want to hear it.
Yeah, wow. Vision 2030 is touching everything. For example, it is central to the construction of the latest phase of the YMCA Change Agents, a program that many of you know to develop young leaders in our communities. We're recruiting the 5th cohort right now until the end of February. It's all on the YMCA, on the World YMCA website. Let's look and get an idea of what might be in store for the Change Agents this year.
Oh, wow, this is amazing. Head out to the World YMCA website to find out more. Applications are open until the end of February. Before we leave, let's hear some of your comments that have come in.
All right, so let's have a look. So we know there's a watch party happening in Nigeria. Hello to everyone there. To Graham, who's enjoyed NAM's engagement. We did as well. Pius in Sierra Leone, hello to you and our friends in Sri Lanka. What a global audience we truly have today. Thank you for joining us. We will leave you here today. Like any good show, your feedback is important to us. So scan the QR code on your screen right now to answer a couple of questions and let us know what you think. Has this been helpful and enjoyable? We hope so. We hope so. We think so. And we want to meet your needs in future episodes. So please do let us know what you think.
And don't forget, download the Vision 2030 practical guide from ymca.int/the-ignite-show. The link is on the screen now, or just head out to the World YMCA the World YMCA website and look up Vision 2030. And we'll be back on Tuesday, 25th of April, of the same time for episode 2. You can't miss it.
In future programs, we'll look at more of the 4 pillars of it. We'll look at 4 pillars of impact of Vision 2030 and begin to unpack its 12 strategic goals, what they are, how each of us can reach them, and how we can share in that process. We'll be reporting back from an important meeting of the YMCA national CEOs from all over the world, taking place in Estes Park, Colorado, USA at the end of March to share and plan on Vision 2030.
So that's next time on Tuesday, 25 April. At the same time, that's 14 CET, Add it in your calendar now at the ymca.int/the-ignite-show.
So, how do you feel? Informed, inspired, we hope, ignited? We hope so. We should be. We're the oldest and one of the largest youth movements, youth empowered organizations in the world, with a magnificent, nearly 180-year history and a great future if we can rise to the challenges facing our world and young people and do it together.
Yes, and remember, we need your feedback. We really want to get better at this. So in the screen, you will see to scan a QR code. So please doing it. Have a great day or good night, wherever you are. And thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.
Goodbye.